In this video, we're going to learn how to times, divide, add, and take away fractions. So in 1a, we're trying to work out the value of 2/3 times by 5/7. Now, in order to times fractions together, literally all we do is we times the tops together and we times the bottoms together, which in this case would give us 10 over 3 times 7 is 21. Now in part B here, we're trying to divide these fractions. Now we're going to worry about how to divide in a minute. First off though, we've got this kind of weird looking number here. Now we actually call this a mixed number because it's a mixture of a whole number and a fraction. We would say this is 1 3/4. Now mixed numbers are very horrible to work with, so what you want to do is turn this into a normal fraction. The way in which we do that is we take our whole number and we times it by the number on the bottom and then add that to the top. So 1 times 4 is 4, add that to the top, so add that to 3 is going to give us 7. So this is actually just 7 over 4 divided by 5 over 2 still. Now the way in which we actually divide fractions is we use something called KFC, which stands for keep, flip, change. Now what that means is we keep the first fraction the same, we flip the second fraction upside down, and we change the divide into its opposite, which is a times. And of course we already know how to times fractions now, we just times the tops together and times the bottoms together. So this would give us 7 times 2 is 14, and 4 times 5 is 20. Now it's really important that you simplify your fractions where possible, and we can divide both 14 and 20 by 2, so this just becomes 7 over 10. Now part C, you've got 3 take away 7/8. First things first, when you come across a whole number and you're trying to combine it with a fraction, doesn't really matter if you're timesing, dividing, adding or taking away, what I like to do is write that whole number as a fraction, and the way in which we do that is we just write itself over 1. Now the problem when it comes to taking away or adding fractions is you need the denominator to be the same. So to make these denominators match up here, I'm actually going to write them both as eighths. Now to turn 3 over 1 into something over 8, I'm going to need to multiply by 8. So that gives me 24 over 8, and 7/8 is already good to go, so of course that stays the same. And now that the denominator matches up, we can take away 7/8 from 24/8 just to leave us with 17/8. Now you can see that what we're left with here is actually what we would call an improper fraction. Let's say we wanted to write this back as a mixed number. The way in which we do this is think about how many lots of 8 can come out of 17. Well, 2 lots of 8 is 16, so we can take up 2 lots of 8. And if we were to take away that 16 from the 17 there, that would leave us with 1. So it'd be 2 1/8. Now question D here, we've got 2 very horrible mixed numbers. So I'm going to turn those straight into regular fractions. So 2 times by 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's going to be 7/3, plus 1 times 5 is 5, plus 4 gives us 9 over 5. Now remember, in order to add these two together, we'll need to make sure the bottoms match up, because we can't really add thirds to fifths because they're different things. So we need to think of a number that we can turn both 3 and 5 into, and that's going to be 15. So to turn thirds into 15ths, we need to times by 5. So 7 times by 5 is 35. And to turn fifths into 15ths, we need to times that by 3. So 9 times 3 is 27. And now that the denominators are the same, we can then add these two together. So 35 plus 27 is 62. So that would be 62 over 15. And again, if we wanted to write this as a mixed number, how many 15s go into 62? Well, 4 times 15 is 60. So we can take out 4. And 62 minus that 60 we've taken out would just be 2. So 4 2/15. And in the last question here, we've been asked to find 3/4 of 20, where you're asked to find a fraction of something. We take that number and we divide it by the number on the bottom, and then times it by the number on top. So 20 divided by 4 would give you 5, times that by 3 gives us 15. Here's some for you to try. Pause the video and give them a go.